Today I fucked up by stealing my own car. So today I went to the bank after work to draw some cash from the ATM. Quick transaction, in and out. It was real cold outside, so I left the engine running and locked the doors. Don't worry, I have an extra set of keys in my work coat pocket so I can go inside with peace of mind, not needing to look at my car every 2 seconds. Now, here's where the fun begins. As I'm walking back to my car, a random lady in her 50s tells me, "Well, if I were you I'd be scared to get my car stolen." To which I reply, with a huge smile, "'Cause I thought I was being funny." "Yay, don't worry, it's not my car." I open the door and drive away, still laughing like a madman. Now, on my way back home I get pulled over by a cop. I wasn't confused, I thought he caught me speeding cause I was going 65ish in a 50 zone, km/h. He was chill, asked for my papers, and once he had a good look at me went, "Sir, your car was reported as stolen by a concerned citizen 10 minutes ago, any idea what happened?" So yay, I bursted out laughing and told him the whole story, and he didn't give me a ticket. The whole thing happened in French, so please be nice on my grammar. Too long didn't read, made a joke about me stealing my own car, got pulled over for it. Edit, some grammar. My dad made a joke while purchasing my trumpet with his credit card. After the transaction my dad cheered. "Ha, it worked." We found that card in the parking lot. The store owner was not amused and asked to see the card again and his ID. I was embarrassed. You are reminding me of a story a family member of mine tells. She was down in the big city a few hours away from where we live, and stopped for lunch at a local famous restaurant. She was moving around some big items and was driving her white Ford pickup. After lunch she hopped back in her truck and made it about 20 minutes down the road. A few things felt off to her about the truck, but just little things. It wasn't until she had to stop for gas that she noticed some junk in the bed of the truck that she hadn't had before. Quick check of the license plate, and sure enough, her key worked on some random other person's identical white Ford truck. She drove back to the restaurant and found the unwitting victim of her theft giving a police report. Back when I was in high school, a friend of mine was giving me a ride home when she realized she had locked her keys in her car. Our brilliant selves thought, let's ask someone who also owns a Honda 90-something shitbox if we could try their keys. First few didn't work, but the fourth person's key actually did work. It was a strange twist of fate. Edit, wow, I didn't think I'd get all these upvotes. Thanks guys! Exclamation mark. I've stolen my own car before, sort of. Years ago when I was younger, I had driven to a nightclub where there was very little parking. The post office across the street had a completely empty parking lot. So I reasoned that the PO was unlikely to be using or enforcing, employee only, parking at midnight, so I parked there. A few hours later I came out of the club and my car had been towed, of course. I got a lift with a friend to the impound lot. When I got there, the gate was pulled closed but not locked and the security guard was sleeping in the guard shack. So I basically pushed the gate open, found my car and drove it out. Then, being 25 years old and a bit of a dick, I did a burnout and honked my horn to wake up the guard. That was over 30 years ago. I've sometimes wondered if it is still accruing storage, impound fees. How are there not serious repercussions for this? I've stolen my car before. I have a Prius that has a mind of its own. I unlocked the car and got in and the alarm started blaring. I started the car and no matter what the alarm would just not shut off. So I called my dad and sped home. The thing about Prius alarms are that they sound like British police cars. So as I was speeding home, cars were pulling over out of my way. I was so embarrassed. My dad was standing outside waiting for me, laughing the entire time. The real kicker is he got the alarm to stop in under a minute. You are a fucking evil mastermind. Out of speeding tickets in advance with this one weird trick / may get you shot instead though. Today I fucked up by setting my bidet to max. As the title says, I did exactly this. My stomach was having a particularly raunchy morning after consuming both dairy and gluten in the same meal, and my body had made the decision to cancel all plans for the next hour as I'd be glued to the toilet for fear of shitting my brains out. As I finished up feeling much better off than I was when I sat down, I decided it was time to wash up and set the bidet to low, but as I did this the pressure started dropping and I can't get a good clean in with no pressure. So, I gradually turned it up till it began to return to normal, which just so happened to be at max. Sat there for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and almost as soon as I turned it to max, the pressure returned screaming for vengeance and plowed a hole through my anus and power washed my colon, leaving me too stunned to scream and scrambled to shut the damn thing off. All the while I was barely able to keep my ass down so the water wouldn't spray all over the bathroom. Sat there for maybe 30 seconds collecting myself when I felt a deep sloshing and rushing feeling like a trapped fart finally making its escape. I prepared for this thing to rip me half as it exited, but I was so very unprepared. This supposed fart ended up being a stream of water that turned on my butthole unlike a bath faucet and proceeded to shit straight water for about 40 seconds while I could only sit there helpless and wait for the endless stream of water rushing out of crov to stop. Once I was all finished up, I skipped the toilet paper and went right to a bathroom towel, as everything in the bowl at this point was dripping wet from the raw power of uncontrolled water pressure. Anyways, 2 hours later now and I still am not able to trust farts, and my turds are about as solid as Trump's case for re-election. Too long didn't read, cranked the bidet up to 11 when the pressure started dropping and gave myself an enema when it returned. Edit, can't thank everyone for all the awards, so this is my thanks. Edit 2, seen a lot of What's the Bidet or something like that, and it's a hello Toshi, great bidet though. Well, this is going to be a gross story about some stranger's butthole. Reads the story anyway. Yep. What a horrible day to have eyes. I actually prefer my bidet on 11 so I can wash my hiney hole, give myself an enema, and power wash the back of my teeth all at once. Where did you buy this bidet? So I know which one not to get. Oh yeah, Toshi, for that deep clean. I read the title and immediately thought, an unintentional douching wasn't disappointed. Harry Potter and the unintentional douching. Today I fucked up by donating blood, urinating in front of everyone in the mall, and ending up in the ER. Too long didn't read, I gave blood at a local mall. Later, fainted twice, urinated to an audience during unconsciousness, and vomited half a gallon that smelled of the Lindt chocolate I had earlier. Now, I want to die. Disclaimer, this happened hours ago. I have my share of life experiences, but I have not fainted in my 4 decades, not once, let alone twice, and never had a seizure. I have donated blood several times. Enjoy normal health. Story, giving blood is a habit I picked up from my former boyfriend. I look forward to it, especially during this pandemic. I met the min hemoglobin requirement of 12.5 grams/dl for women, mine 12.8. Earlier, I consumed a full meal and 2 Lindt milk chocolate truffles to give myself a sugar boost. The blood drive was inside a mall. I loathe going to the malls, but the schedule worked for me. I had been hydrating, so paid a quick visit to the restroom beforehand. After donating, I waited twice the suggested time to be safe and consumed 3 apple juices in their snack room. I decided to treat myself to the number 5 meal combo at Chick-fil-A, using their app on my iPhone 8 with a 17% charge left. I began my journey to the food court to pick the order on my way to the parking. Suddenly, the hallways started to narrow down to a tunnel vision. My number 5 was ready, but the distance felt like eons away. My body was shutting down. I sat down on the floor while mall goers passed by. After a few minutes of contemplation, I got up, started walking to the blood drive. They would know how to help. But everything became so heavy, slow, and pitch dark. I woke up, first, to darkness, then concerned voices. I began to see mask-covered faces. Some recounted how I fell, how it was a seizure. Some said bring water. Kind strangers helped me slowly get up. I wanted to say thank you, but my tongue became too heavy to conjure up words. I saw a man bringing iced water. That's all I wanted at that moment, so I extended my hand. Then I noticed water on the tiles, in between my feet. How can the glass in his hand remain full while trickling its way in between my feet? I looked at the water in his hands, then the water in between my feet. How could it travel so fast? The physics didn't add up. What was happening, Murph? Everything went black. This time, I woke up to medics who arrived from the local fire station, asking questions to ensure I was still functioning. Answering felt like death. My brain couldn't fathom why bystanders said I had urinated in real time. Why would I do that? Understandably, to their shock, they repeated it a few times until a person said, "Would you guys stop reminding her? Stop embarrassing her. Cover her legs and the leakage." Soon my legs and some of my dignity were covered in sheets. I accepted that I was having a very human moment. The next 20 minutes felt like an eternity. I lay in my piss, pain, and shame in the company of kind strangers. I had fallen for head, teeth, then knee first. An ambulance took me to the ER. During the ride, all I could think was the line from Got, "Men shit themselves when they die." I told this to the medic, and we decided it could be worse, then proceeded to puke my guts out and filled the bag. Never thought I would say this, the scent of Lindt chocolate truffles was strong with this one. By the time I gathered enough awareness and energy, my phone was at 5%. Informed fam. Soon the phone died. A nurse brought me their charger. After the required tests, an IV drip, and a few hours in the ER, I was sent home with benign vasovagal syncope. The nurse asked, "Will this make you stop giving blood?" I thought for a moment and said, "It is too soon to say." We both shared a laugh, and I lived to tell the tale of piss and passing out and wish never to lay eyes on the Lindt truffles again. Edit to add, 1. Thank you for sharing your lived experiences. I am flawed, pun intended. Thanks for your support for my malfunction. Please use your money to donate to the Red Cross instead. 2. Obligatory, English isn't my first language. My bad for not giving you closure on the number 5, I wrote this between naps after returning home. Combo number 5, and I did not become one with the other, it waited alone, sad, in the cold, dark mall. My front teeth are intact, but I still need to see a dentist. My jaw and head hurt. 3. Please don't let this stop you from donating, as it won't stop me. I could have prepared better. I will donate as long as I qualify. 4. I will respond to most of you since I have time. I'm in between jobs and resting in my bed, but bear with me. 5. I am not aware of what happened during the episodes. I went to the mall alone. My brain was fully functioning, just not the rest of the body. I could learn more if there was a mall security video, though I don't know if there's one. Oh man, this is a rough one. I had an experience, not nearly as extreme, a few years ago. After giving blood, I hadn't eaten much, gave blood, ate the requisite cookies and juice, didn't think much of it, and then met up with my friends at the art museum to see the Van Gogh exhibit. It was amazing, but about 20 minutes in, I started feeling nauseous. Now this exhibit was a big deal, so every painting had its own security guard. I can't remember what I was looking at, but I got super dizzy and felt like fainting, and clutched the wall to keep from falling. The security guard immediately yelled at me to step away from the painting. I was so startled, I hurled myself away and found a bench. Things could have been so much worse. I think this means you own them all now. I marked my territory, but at what cost? I once worked a 30-minute shift at Domino's. I had to go to the hospital on my very first day at work since I passed out, 7 months pregnant, from malnutrition. I passed out at a tattoo shop because I didn't know I was pregnant with aforementioned baby. I also passed out on vial 13 of a blood draw, roughly 1/7 of a bind. Pregnancy messed me up severely. I had no history of passing out prior to this, but I'm now fearful to get blood work done. My wife and I also found at 7 months she was preggo. That was and still is a trip.